Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. And for you, the listeners of Shit I'm 30 podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I went to Barnes & Nobles with Ayana the other day, and because she knows all the lyrics to all the rap songs on the radio so well, I realized I haven't had her read a book outside of the school books that she has to read. You know what I mean? The kids, they get books, but then you come home and you're like, what are you doing? Just going on YouTube and rapping Nicki Minaj songs? Well, no. When I was there, I saw that Phoebe Robinson from Two Dope Queens, which is a dope-ass podcast, has a book out called Everything's Trash, But It's Okay. I picked it up and I instantly knew that I was going to enjoy that book. I checked out Audible to see if they had it, and duh, of course they do. And it's narrated by her. So go right now to audibletrial.com/shitI'm30 and get your free audio version of her book. That way we can discuss it. So I'm having this idea where I want to do like an IG or Facebook Live, kind of a book club. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it and where I'm going to do it yet, but I think the first book I might want to do it on is Shook One and or Everything's Trash by Phoebe. So let's get together. Go to audibletrial.com/shitI'm30 and get your audio version, or go to Barnes & Nobles and get the copy of the book, and we can discuss it together on IG Live. Also, if you want to advertise on Shit I'm 30 podcast, your business, a product you're selling, or a service that you provide, or maybe even an event that you want people to know about, email shitim30podcast@gmail.com for rates and packages for advertising. Don't sleep on advertising on podcasts, guys, which is huge right now. For any questions about advertising, send me an email and we will discuss letting the audience of Shit I'm 30 know all about your services. Now let's get to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Shit I'm 30 with me, your host, Carla Wilmaris. And today, the friend of the podcast here standing with me is Cash from Orlando.
Hey.
So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about Cash and how I came across into bringing her here into the studio. But first, let's start off with shit you should know. So again, this is a segment where I talk about something that I read in the news that just I felt it was weird, or something that we just should definitely know. We're from Orlando. So I saw a report or something being written about ashes that were scattered all over Disney World and Disneyland. So the parks are known usually for birthdays, engagement, weddings at that big castle that we have here in Orlando, or just a getaway from reality from the world's happiest place on earth. I'm from here and I'm not big on Disney. I think I've taken my daughter once. That's about it. So I get why people might want to scatter their loved ones' ashes there if that's where they loved, or where they're, I don't know, the happy place, whatever. But it happens so often. It's about once a month that reportedly custodians have a special code for handling the ashes, and it's called HEPA cleanup. HEPA or HEPA, I don't know how you say it, but it's reference to the vacuum that they have to use to suck up the ashes. It's a specific vacuum because the ashes are so fine. It's technically a misdemeanor to spread cremated remains anywhere without permission. I actually want to do my dad's in the ocean, and I heard it's illegal, but I haven't done it yet. They're still sitting in my room. He's getting a look at whatever I do in there. Kind of weird. Anywho, the guests of Disney World who get caught are escorted off the property without a refund, and those who have done it say it's pretty easy. And I'm thinking, how do you bring a urn into Disney World? Because I feel like they check your insides when you go in there, making sure you don't bring anything too bad. So according to People magazine, one woman said that she put her mother's ashes into a pill bottle. Or others have said that they put it into makeup compacts or hide them in a Ziploc bag at the bottom of their purse, and that's how they bring the ashes in. And the most popular places to put these ashes are in flower beds, bushes, Magic Kingdom lawns. All that money they spend, it's probably like fertilizer. They should probably just let people do this anyway. And then outside the park gates, the Pirate of the Caribbean's ride, and then the biggest one, the Dumbo ride. Isn't that a kid ride?
It is.
They ain't shit. They went Dumbo. And then the biggest one is the Haunted Mansion. So they say that the Haunted Mansion probably has so many human ashes in it that it's not even funny. That was a custodian. Gross. So that's probably, how many people, what if they dropping off, like, they got the left titty of an auntie, the right foot of an uncle, like somebody's left ball. I don't know what's going on inside that haunted house. But if something tickles you, it's probably somebody's brother that they spread around there, or their grandpa. I don't know. I thought this was cool to know, because next time you go to Disney World or Disneyland, look around, and whatever might seem like you slipped on a little bit of sand, it wasn't. It was somebody mama that wanted to be happy, and then you just stepped on her. So you better say sorry next time you go to Disney World, and you said somebody's family member. Anyway, so the other day I was on Instagram, and a couple of episodes ago we had Jamal here. The episode was called $40 Pussy. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. The whole point of it was fun. I won't tell you why it was called that, so you have to go listen to that episode. It was a bonus episode. And he posted a girl that said that she would pay someone or give them free advertisement. I'm not sure what it is that you posted if they brought you Jesse's Rib Shack.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I like her. That is really good. I need to put up more posts like that, because whenever something to tell my boyfriend to bring me Jesse's, he's just like, oh, I'm too far, or I have to wait until he wants it.
Right.
Although he's there all the time. But I would like it more often than I eat it. So when I see it, I go into her Instagram and it says Cash Arroyo. And I'm like, who is this girl? And I was like, oh, she in a bikini. Let me look. And here I go being perverted. And I'm like, ooh, this yellow bikini is cute. And I see that it says PCOS girl.
Right.
Something like that, right? And I said, well, what the hell is this? So I start reading her captions, and she's really open about the syndrome that she has that I've never heard of. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then the one thing that caught my eye was like, one, you look very young. How old are you?
I'm 27.
So I'm like, she looks young. And you mentioned something about that PCOS doesn't stop anything over there but children.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is very open. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like this shit. I like girls that are open. So can you just tell them a little bit about who you are and why it is that I brought you here?
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Cash Arroyo. I'm 27. I am from Polk County.
Oh my God, girl. I had this boyfriend from Polk County. He was crazy, girl. He done robbed me and everything.
He robbed you?
Oh my God. Are you sure I should have brought you here?
Oh my God.
Ooh, Lord.
I know that gold mic looks kind of nice over there. No, but I am from Polk County, but I do live in Orlando now. Let's see, where can I start? So I have PCOS, which is short for polycystic ovarian syndrome. I want to say that I found out I had this when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
But my doctor didn't know about it or how to tell me that it was PCOS. So he basically was like, your ovaries, they're supposed to form pearl balls, but yours form pearl necklaces. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean?
I'm rich? Do I need to pull them out?
Can we get them out of there? And he's like, you can't have kids right now. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm 18. And he's like, okay, well, right now you can't have kids. I'm like, fucking great. And then he was like, but if you want to have kids, you're going to have to come back and see a doctor. I said, well, you won't be seeing me for a very long time.
I'm going to be out here just getting whatever I can.
Hey, go ahead.
No birth control for me? Cool.
Right, exactly. Unfortunately, some of us still have to use birth control, but not for a form of stopping from getting pregnant. It's mainly to help us with regulation of our menstrual. So with PCOS, there's a lot of symptoms. I'm just going to go ahead and speak about the ones that I personally deal with. So for me, one of the first telltale signs was on my period. I was getting my period for 12 days straight.
Oh my God.
And then sometimes I would get it for almost the entire month.
30 days.
30 days.
Of blood coming out your vagina.
Mm-hmm. I would probably have maybe 5 days of rest without it.
So like 30 days, 5 days rest, and then back?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, or there would be days where I would probably get it for like 15 days and a 5-day rest. And I'm just thinking, how am I not dead at this point?
All my blood should be gone.
Right. And it wasn't just like regular period. It was heavy. Like you would think I'm getting killed. So
that was your first telltale, like something's wrong with me.
Right, something's wrong with me.
Yeah,
I was changing my pad like I was probably going through pads, like 5 pads every 6 hours.
That's expensive.
That's very expensive.
And they tax on it. We're talking about now they want to take tax. Well,
right, which is so dumb.
They should definitely not have tax on pads.
I'm like, they should just give it to us for free. Mm-hmm. We didn't choose this life.
You sure as hell didn't.
So I was like, this is kind of crazy. Like something's wrong with me, but I didn't want to go to a doctor. I don't know. I was at that young stage where I was like, I don't want to tell anybody because this is weird.
Well, I mean, if you're sexually active at that time, you really can't do anything for a long time.
Right. But at the same time, I was okay with it. So there would be the times where I wasn't on my period that I would go and
do what I had to do.
When I did a little research
on it, like some of the other ones that they said, it was like acne, difficulty losing weight, irregular periods, and that's the one you're talking about, which I can't even imagine. Inflammation, mood swings, facial hair, and infertility. And I think there were some other ones. So your first telltale sign was your irregular periods.
My irregular periods, yep.
And you went to the doctor, and so basically he was like, you have something wrong, come back later?
Yeah. Come back later. That's all he said.
So what were you supposed to do with these 30-day long periods?
Well, at first I didn't know that. I wasn't going through them at that point when he told me to come back later. So I think they started happening maybe like a year later. So then I think I went online. I don't know if I had went online or I had went to the doctor. I think there's this like website called Amwell where you could talk to a doctor on the computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just told someone about that.
That's so cool. So I was like, oh, hey, you know, my periods are like 30 days long. Oh, so she was like, okay, I'm going to prescribe you birth control. It should regulate your period. So I said, okay. She gave me the birth control. I took it for a week. It regulated my period, but it made me so sick to my stomach. I was like, I'm done.
Like the pill?
Yeah. I got off the pill, but I guess all I needed was a week with the pill because my periods have been the same ever since. Like they have been regulated.
For all these years?
For all these years.
So now you have, what's a regular? So I haven't had a period since 2004 before I got pregnant.
Right.
I've been on birth control to stop it. And then I'm about to hit my second 5 years of the Mirena. So for 10 years, and then before that I was in the depot.
No period at all?
No period at all.
God bless you.
It's amazing. But I do want to get off birth control, so we're thinking about a vasectomy. Anyways, I'm getting off subject. I'll talk about that later. So you get on that. So now you are regular. So now what happened? How do you know something is wrong again?
So years probably have gone by. I'm dating a guy. And all of a sudden, my face is starting to break out. Now, mind you, I used to be a cold hard model. Like, I was modeling since the age of 18. And I'm still modeling. But at that time, my face was clear. You know, I had like a perfect little body. Everything was fine. Then my face is breaking out. And I'm like, what is going on? Why do I have acne?
Am I hitting puberty later?
Right. Like, this is so weird. So the guy that I'm dating, of course, he's so cool with it. He's like, you know, don't worry about it. Just don't pick your face. We're going to find things, you know, you could wash your face with, blah, blah, blah. Cool, supportive, loved him.
That's so sweet.
Great guy. We break up. So.
Well, damn.
Right.
What happened to the support?
We break up.
Sir, I need you to keep supporting.
Long distance was kind of hard on our end.
Makes sense.
So then, we go separate ways. I start mingling. I start dating some guy that I meet at the club, but we're just like casually dating. But every time I hang out with him, I have like a shit ton of makeup on. Like, it's because I'm trying to cover the acne. Right. But I mean, you can only cover so much. You can still see the bumps on my face, everything. So I'm covering my acne. Every time I hang out with this guy, I'm putting my hair across my face, so you can't really see it. Like, I'm trying to cover my face as best as I can with my hair. Right. Back then it wasn't that pretty. I damaged it really bad. So I always try to cover it when we talk. I try not to like look his way, you know. So I don't know why. It was so dumb. He was
in the back of your head.
Right. It was dumb. Like, he sees me. We're in the bed together. We're hunching. He sees his face, but I'm acting like he can't see it. So then one day we go out to eat and we're sitting outside. I'm covering my face again. And he stops and pulls my face. No. Yeah. He pulls my face to the side because I had said I was hot. So he's like, put your hair up. And I'm like, no, I'm not about to do that.
Do not touch my hair.
And he's like, why don't you ever put your hair up? You're always trying to cover your face. He's like, I know you have acne. I was like, what?
Where? Sir.
When have you seen my face? And he just basically was like, listen, you're going to have to literally get over it. He was like, you have the acne if you're doing what it takes. And he's like asking me, what's wrong with you? Why do you have acne? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. And so he's like, you need to see a doctor. He was like, you're beautiful. Let me tell you something. Whoever's meant for you is going to be for you. So it doesn't matter that you have acne or whatever. Like, he's like, people always have a problem. He was like, people who really care about you, they're not going to care that you have acne on your face. I think you're beautiful.
Side note, later on we're going to talk about where you find all these like super sweet guys.
Right.
I feel like my girls out there need to find, they're talking about how hard it is to find these emotional.
It's not that hard.
So does that prompt you now to go find out why you have your acne?
He prompted me, wherever you are, Will, in the world, find me, okay? I feel like I owe you something. But we stopped talking. We like completely disconnect. I never heard from him again. I think we both changed our numbers and he just wasn't for me. He's a great guy. it just wasn't for me. So, but his comment really did something to my spirit. So I was like, you know what? I gotta go see a doctor. But before I saw a doctor, I was like, let me go on Google and see if I'm dying or if I died already.
Yeah, I mean, it might be like cancer all over your face or something.
Right.
You know?
So I was like, let me see what Google tells me. So I put in, you know, at this time, my periods they were pretty normal, but there would be days where sometimes it would be a little too weird. Like maybe it would last 12 days.
12?
Yes. So
isn't normal periods supposed to be like 4 to 5?
Sometimes 7 is like the max for your period.
And you were going 12.
So I was like, okay, I have this, my face, and then now all of a sudden I've weighed 118, 130 the max my entire life. Now I'm like 160 at this point.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
No. How old are you when you're realizing?
I was like 23.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to put this into, you know, WebMD or whatever. So I get online, I start looking, and then it says PCOS, and it just lists all of these things. So I'm like, hold up, that's me. I also have facial hair. I'm like, oh my God, I never thought.
But how, are you Hispanic?
Yes.
How much? Because, you know, I have a unibrow. I got a whole mustache. I got some fight before for it. So what are you, how much excess? Because I'm hairy as hell. So
right. So that's the thing.
Know?
I'm Caribbean. So my mom is Puerto Rican. My dad's Jamaican.
So you're hairy.
I'm like, shit, I'm just hairy. That's just the lifestyle. I go get laser hair removal because, you know, I got a little stub hair on my chin, whatever. So I'm like, let me just go get some laser hair removal. Bam, we do that. Hair still growing back. Before the laser hair removal, I had really dark hairs coming out. It was like a man.
Out of your chin?
Yeah, like a beard. I'm like,
but just like
right
your
here.
Chin or the whole beard?
No, just right here.
Okay, just right in the chin.
So, and then of course everybody has like the little fine hairs.
Oh
on
yeah,
their
all over
face.
my face.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get laser hair removal. It works, but it doesn't work. Like all it does is thin out your hair. It doesn't remove anything. Okay. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense because I got hair on my face. I've gained weight. I got acne. Bam. So I go to the doctor, see my doctor. I'm like, I have PCOS. He was like, and how do you know this? I'm like, I Googled it.
And a doctor a long time ago told me I have pearl necklaces on my ovaries.
And then he was like, okay, so we're going to run some blood work and then come back. So I come back. He's like, hey, got your blood work. You have PCOS. I'm like, dang, for real? Doctor. I was like, I could do your job for you. And so he's like,
that's scary.
Right. But then he was like, I don't really know much about it. So I have to send you somewhere else. So I'm like, well, what school you went to?
Right.
Because how don't you know?
Is it not common?
Not, well, I think it's like 1 in every 3 women.
Oh, so that's pretty common. That's 33%.
Yeah, it's pretty common, but not everyone has symptoms like we have. Some people, it's silent for them for a while until they try to have kids or whatever the case is. So I go see an endocrinologist who specializes in things like PCOS. He runs my blood work, comes back, and he looks at me like, damn, girl. I'm like, what is it? He's like, women are supposed to have like, I want to say, I think it was like 28-30% androgens or something like that, which is a male hormone. Okay. He was like, you have 98.
Oh.
I'm like, so I'm a man.
So where's the dick so I can pull it out?
Right. Let me know. So he's like, that's why you're experiencing all of these things so harshly. And he was like, 'cause you're up there. So I'm like, well, what do I do? And so he's like, well, I could put you on birth control. I'm like, that's not happening. I'm not getting back on birth control. My periods at this time now,
Why did you want to get on birth control though?
Well, when I had this conversation with the endocrinologist, it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So when he's telling me I need to be on birth control, I'm like, no, because I'm already fine as far as my periods. They're back to normal. I haven't had a mishap since. So I'm like, no, I don't need to be on birth control because I'm fine down there. And birth control already messes up your mood. I have PCOS. My mood swings are out of this world.
That is one thing that I saw, anxiety, depression. So we'll talk about your mood swings in a second. So he's just telling you birth control, no birth control. So
I'm like, no birth control. So then he's like, and then he starts telling me about infertility. So I'm like, well, I know I'm infertile. And he was like, well, how do you know? I said, boy, my man don't pull out. I said, I ain't been pregnant since. And he was like, okay.
So were you trying?
Not that I was trying, but I was curious.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So if it happened, it happened. You know.
Okay.
So I knew he'd be a good dad.
That curious,
right?
That curiosity never hit me. No, man.
So I was like, if it happens, it happens. So
Is this with the person you're with currently?
No, hell no.
Oh, just kidding.
Just kidding.
That one wasn't like Will or the other.
I mean, he would have been a good dad, but it just wasn't gonna work out. So I'm like, no birth control. I can't get pregnant. So at this point, he's like, well, you need to eat healthy, go to the gym, lose some weight. That's all he says. So I'm like, wow.
What are you supposed to do now?
You want me to pay you for this service today? So I'm like, okay, well, I already eat healthy. I literally, every time I go grocery shopping, I don't buy anything unhealthy. Like, it sucks because I'm like, what am I supposed to eat for a snack? Cereal?
Right.
So.
Carrots.
Right. I was like, well, I already eat healthy. He's like, go to the gym. I'm like, you know, sometimes I go there and swim at the pool that they have for free.
Swimming is really good.
Right. So I was like, but everything else, I'm like, okay. So I start working out, whatever the case is. But here's the thing with PCOS. You can go to the gym, but that doesn't mean that you're going to lose the weight. When I tell you it's so hard to lose weight with PCOS, I don't know. I don't exactly remember what I read, but the weight on your body when you have PCOS is very stagnant, doesn't want to come off. So, I mean, you have to work 3 times harder than the average person.
Well, I saw when I was reading also on it that it might be your insulin.
Yep.
And I remember my daughter was borderline diabetic and she had another condition that I don't think I've talked about specifically on the podcast. But basically, her sugar levels were so high and the insulin levels that it doesn't matter how hard she would work out, she couldn't lose the weight. So I'm thinking, is that the same thing with you? Are your insulin levels really high?
Yeah. Insulin resistant, which is why you could get diabetes.
Yes.
I think I was, I want to say,
levels, I think it is.
Yeah, I think they were saying that I was pre-diabetic at one point. So, and I knew that I was because my legs, I would feel like there was no blood. So I would feel like my blood circulation was getting cut off. So I started buying diabetic socks and just doing everything I need to do as a diabetic. And I could see like, okay, I see the difference now. Like when I wear pre-diabetic socks, my legs don't hurt at all. I could feel the blood like going through my legs. Oh, wow. So it's like the insulin resistant thing, like it's really hard. You have to work 3 times harder than the average person if you want to lose weight.
And you have to eat a crazy diet as well. I've seen some diets as PCOS.
I ain't
diets.
Doing that.
You know,
I ain't doing all that. Okay, it's bad enough.
So what are you doing yourself?
To be honest, I don't care to lose weight. Because at this point, I weigh 187 pounds. Okay. And of course, that's considered obese for my height of 5'3". But I'm stacked well. Like
you're shaped very well.
Right. So for me, I don't really have a big butt. Everything's like in my thighs and my head. I got a big ass head. But as far as everything else, I'm not really like, oh my God, eager to get into the gym. I have friends sometimes who they don't understand how insensitive they come off. They'll hit me up and be like, we need to go to the gym because your health is going to deteriorate or before it gets worse. And I'm like, dude, if you don't shut the hell up, like you don't understand how hard it is for me already. So for you to just try to tell me we need to go to, it's not that easy.
It might be more coming out of love. So I know myself sometimes with my daughter, I've said some things that I've regretted and I'm like, come on, let's go. But when you love someone, you're coming from a space of, I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to get any worse. But going to the gym sucks. Like, I go to the gym, and if I didn't have DJ, my trainer, who I'm posting all the time, and they're like, damn, he's really good. He is really good, but I don't want to get up half of the time. Right. I don't want to see him. I hate being sore. I want to eat potato chips. And, you want to eat a certain way. But I also know because my father passed away at 60 from heart issues and his dad's dad. I feel like I'm in the same boat.
Right.
So I try to stay active and lose. It's really hard for me to lose weight as well, just because I'm not as disciplined. But I think when you're saying like, I don't know what you're going through. Right. Because I'm not there. But I can see from the outside when they're coming to you, it's more of a place from love. Maybe they're not saying it in the right way.
Right.
And they might not be like, hey, I'm going to the gym when you want to come with me. Instead of like, hey, you need to go to the gym.
Right.
But sometimes they want you to not be complacent at where you are and say, let's go. And let's make us better. You know?
And I think I probably do need a trainer. Maybe somebody who will pull me out of my bed at 5 a.m. because I promise you, I go to the gym and I'm like, what do I do?
That's me.
Even with the apps I try to use, I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing this right.
Well, or they'll tell you do 20 reps, and at rep number 8, I'm tired. Right. So by 10, I drop the weights.
Right.
So I need somebody to tell me, no, you're not done. You need to keep going.
Exactly. Because listen, I'm not that great with my own discipline. So I would be like, oh, well, nobody's watching. I'll just pick up these 2 pounds real quick.
And it's not a problem.
And then go on Instagram and be like, just worked out so hard, sweating. I'm like, you lying asshole.
So with the depression and your mood swings, have you ever been to a point, because you're telling me right now it's really hard, your friends might not understand what you're going through inside. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to a point where you're like super depressed or real low that you can think of?
I feel I'm depressed every month. There's probably like maybe 2 weekends out of every month, and you have to really try to pull yourself out of it, because I mean, you know that it's PCOS. Mm-hmm. So you know that, hey, you got to get out of this funk. But maybe I want to say earlier this year, sometime in January, I was just really going through a lot of things with my job, a lot of things with my personal life. And then with this PCOS, I was like, I'm going to kill myself. And it's sometimes for some people, for a lot of people, it's mixed feelings. Some people are like, okay, you just want attention. Right. And then for other people, it's like, oh, hold up. Like, hold your horses. What's going on here?
Right.
But for someone who deals with anxiety, depression, mood swings, sometimes like it gets really grave for you.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say I'm not religious at all, but I am very spiritual. And it's an oxymoron because I believe in Jesus Christ and I believe there's a heaven.
No, it makes sense. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual.
I believe there's a heaven. I believe there's a hell. And I also believe, I was raised Catholic, but if I was to consider myself, it'd be like non-denominational Christian type. Right. So I do believe that if I kill myself, I'm going to hell immediately. Okay. So I've always been to a point where like I'm really depressed, and then the time in January I'm like, I really want to kill myself, like I should just end it today. I always think like, hell no, I'm not going to hell. So for me, it's easy to stray away from, possibly committing suicide, just because I don't want to end up in eternal hell. But for some people who don't believe in that,
I wouldn't say easy. It's more of a fear,
right? Or
the fear of God,
right?
That's like I don't want to end down there in
right.
hell.
And then for some people who might be atheists or just might be in the middle, they don't know what to believe. It might be easier for them to grab some pills and go to sleep. Or
I think some people just are, maybe you feel depressed and you're at a certain point, because I've been there, mm-hmm. but there's some people where they just can't help it.
Right.
It's so deep and so dark that even the thought of hell is better,
right,
than being here on earth.
And that's really scary.
It's so scary. So when I think about it, sometimes having a teenage girl and seeing how many kids because of social media nowadays kill themselves, I want to make sure she never gets to that dark space, right, where nothing matters but death. Mm-hmm. I was watching, I don't know if you watched that show on Netflix, 13 Reasons Why.
Oh yeah.
Little girl killed herself. And I'm like, I don't know what it is to be, well, I was pretty low at one point, but I wouldn't ever want to see someone else get to that point. But I know it happens every day. Every single day. So with you, I'm like, well, what is she going to do now? You're 27. Mm-hmm. And my biggest thing to me was when you said you're infertile.
Right. How
do you deal with that? How do you're saying, okay, you believe in a heaven, you believe in a hell. How do you deal with, I won't be a mom?
Well, for me, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I never wanted to be like a mom. I don't want to say never, but it wasn't, some girls grow up and think, I can't wait to be a mom, or, to have a family, get married, blah, blah, blah. I never had those feelings.
Okay. And it's normal, because right, I know a lot of people that are like that.
Right. I don't even have attachment to my own nieces and nephews. I mean, yeah, I love them, but there's not an attachment. Like, I'm good if I don't see you. Like, oh, right. So, and I tell my friends that.
Are they young?
One just turned 18.
Oh, well, damn. Yeah. That's a grown person.
So I'm like, and then the youngest are 3 and 4. So
I can see why you don't have an attachment to those. I have my nephew. I've been having my nephew now, and it's, ooh, Lord, my head hurts.
So for me, I'm like, it's 1 foot out, 1 foot in, because I'm like, I get really annoyed with kids easily. Like, if they're not my kids and they're like someone else's kids, and I don't see them disciplining them and stuff like that, of course, I'm annoyed. Right. But I've never seen myself like a mom.
Do you think that you're thinking this way also because you won't be one?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't know if it has to do with my upbringing, because I was adopted. I wasn't with my biological parents whatsoever, and I don't want to be like my biological mom, like, she's a great person now, but back then, I don't want to be like her at all. I don't want to raise my kids like that. So there's opportunity for growth in the generations if I have children, but
break the curse. But at the same time, there's that possibility that you might do what she did.
Exactly. There might be that possibility of, no attachment. Like, I might not feel love for you. And people say, oh, it's different when you have kids. Okay, what about the people who throw their kids in the dumpster?
And they happen.
Yeah. So it's like, everybody is different. Just because you have a kid and you felt like, oh my God, this is love, not everybody feels that way. And I don't want to have a child and feel that way still. Like, oh my God, I brought this kid in and I don't want them. But then it's like my boyfriend now, who I'm absolutely in love with, has a 5-year-old son.
So how's your attachment to the baby?
Well, I haven't spent that much time with him. I get him to myself next weekend. Like, it's just me and him. His mom is bringing him down, and it's just going to be me and him. So I'm excited because I've had some time with him and my boyfriend together. My boyfriend's deployed right now. Oh. Right. So we've had time with all three of us, and, it was good. I could see where I fit in, where my boyfriend lacked. I picked up, like, no, he needs to take a shower after he leaves Chuck E. Cheese. Like, germs are everywhere. So, and then, I would be like very, I don't know, mommy-like, maternal. But, at the same time, it's kind of just like, I don't know if we should bring another one. I think this one is just fine. Like,
so if that time comes and maybe you haven't had the experience, and now it makes more sense why you're like, oh, I'm not attached to my nieces and nephews. You came from an upbringing where you were unattached,
right,
from everything. Mm-hmm. So this it's not a disease, is it? What is it? What do you call it?
I don't even know.
Sickness, or
I'd be calling it syndrome. Disease, syndrome, everything.
So the syndrome that you have is that you have to live with, not necessarily maybe doesn't help the fact that you're already detached,
right,
from people being adopted. Now you're gonna have this kid,
right,
with you, and that mommy feeling might hit you like, oh my God, I want to have one,
right.
At least you do have options. There's adoptions there. So do you create eggs at all?
I have no idea. I was actually thinking about that like maybe 2 days ago. I was like, I should find out if I have any.
Because you could use a surrogate mom like Kim Kardashian does.
Exactly.
There's other ways, but and it's okay. That's my thing with shit, I'm 30. We don't need to know what we want by the time you're a certain age, or, you don't have to have your goals. You can have your goals, but not your expectations right away.
Exactly.
You're like, I want to do this within the next 5 years, but you don't need to know, am I going to have kids? I don't know.
Right.
And it's fine to say, I don't know. And if right now, like you're saying, you're like, I've never had it, I don't want kids, I'm good with his, that's fine. And if in 3 years you decide to tell him, I kind of do want a baby now,
right,
it's fine to say I want a baby now, however which way you want to have them.
I think I've always leaned into adoption because I was adopted. I've always been a big, like, when I watch those adoption videos on Facebook, I'm in literal tears. Like, I'm like,
oh, when they signed the papers,
yes,
it's like official,
right?
So who adopted you?
My godparents, who are my mom's cousins.
Okay, so you were within family still.
I was within family, yes. But it wasn't really family-like. Like, for me, I just didn't feel it. So
from them?
From the people who adopted me.
You didn't feel the love from them?
Well, kind of from my dad. But from my mom, it was kind of like...
distant a little bit?
Very distant. So it's like, damn, I already lost a mom, and now I'm living with you, and I feel like there's no love.
Right.
So it was kind of easy to, detach myself from feelings and everything growing up because I just didn't feel the love. Right. So now I think it's stuck so hard that it's like
it's a curse you have to break out of.
Right. Like, I have a niece and nephew whose mom just went to prison. Horrible. My brother does not take care of those kids. So when I'm with them, I literally feel like they're my kids. And sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I should have a kid, or maybe I should adopt, because when I'm with them, I love those kids. Like, I love them to death.
You know what they're missing, and you know what their void is. Like,
right.
Let me fill that void for you.
And I want to fill it. So sometimes I'm like, dude, I really want to adopt because I know what it felt like. So I want to be able to give someone something that they don't have right now. So I do feel adoption is huge for me. But as far as me actually giving birth to a child, I don't really care for it.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
Yeah. Cardi B said that her vagina done split open. I'm like, I'm good.
Oh my goodness. So I honestly love the fact that you're so open about it, because some people are not open about the fact that they might not have kids, or that they're depressed, or that they have acne. I think about it and I'm like, how inconsiderate and superficial am I that when I get this big ass zit on my face, I'm freaking the fuck out and I'm like, I'm not taking a picture. I gotta take a selfie from the right side.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and there's people that are dealing with it every day.
Every day.
I don't know what's gonna happen once I pull this thing out my uterus or wherever the hell it's out up there floating and blood starts coming out of me. I'm gonna think like I'm dying.
Right.
But it's crazy and eye-opening to see someone that deals with it on an everyday basis, and we complain about such little things that really are such a small picture.
Right. So minuscule to
somebody's big
else.
Picture in somebody's life.
Like today I was like, should I put makeup on? And I haven't really been wearing makeup like that. I'm like, nah. I'm
For
going
what?
to talk about my PCOS.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Your hair is beautiful. Like, you don't look obese, although on paper you might be.
Right.
I think I am too, honestly. At this point in time, I need to get my life together. But we are, and it's like what we are on paper and what we are in real life are two different things.
Exactly.
So if you're with someone who accepts you, what else is there to do?
Right.
Who
cares
you're
at that
living
point?
it doesn't even matter. So we're going to go into our next segment, which is unsolicited advice. And basically we give advice to someone who probably didn't even ask for it. But there is one actually really quick that I want to do. Have you ever dated a celebrity? We don't have to say who it is. Yes. Or somebody with a blue check or something. Let me find.
Definitely blue check.
Okay. So I have this message from a girl. I posted that I was going to be recording. And she says, so I used to talk and go on a few dates with a celebrity a few years back. We haven't spoken now for about a year. For some odd reason, I've been dreaming about him and having this urgent feeling that I need to get in contact with him. Here's the catch. He has a new number and he blocked me on IG.
Oh, girl.
Because I got back with my baby daddy back in the day. So what the hell should I do now? And she puts the crying face emoji. I don't know. Maybe this isn't a good one. And I'm thinking, And then she's like, it's been driving me crazy. The feeling has been so overwhelming. Not to mention his ass has been getting finer and finer. And I fronted on the opportunity to have sex with him back then. I am vanilla and always playing hard to get. I think she used that reference because Mandy keeps calling me vanilla. But now I'm like, damn, there's some things I would do to him. I just have no way to contact him. And I'm sitting here like, well, ma'am, I think you just got to move on. It is what it is.
Pretty much. He's
getting finer and finer. He's a celebrity. He's probably biggest. I did ask him who it was, and he's fine.
I'm gonna need you to show me.
I don't show you who. I can't. I can't show it.
You gotta show me.
He fine and he's big, and I'm like, baby girl, I think you just lost an opportunity. And sometimes we think about, damn, those people that we coulda, shoulda, woulda, and I think it's a coulda, shoulda, woulda situation. I've only had one blue check, and we dated, and he was a ball player. I talk about him sometimes here, but it was an opportunity. It happened. Whatever happened. What didn't. And you got to move on.
Exactly.
The overwhelming feeling that I think that you have is probably just seeing him or probably not Instagram because you blocked. Seeing him on TV, on other people's Instagrams, or like him as MCM on everybody and their mama's feed.
Well, maybe he had a thing for her. He blocked her. You know, guys, when they like you, if they block you, that means something.
So if you want to get in contact with him, it's like, if you want to push it and see maybe it's destiny, I would think maybe Twitter. Honey, you're going to have to start atting the man.
Or make a new Instagram and be like, hey, I made a new Instagram. Was just thinking about you. Be fake.
A new Instagram is
and
true.
Just be like, I'm restarting life. Everything's been going great. I'm single. Super single.
I need you to be hella single.
Hella single.
Baby daddy has to be gone.
Girl, kill him.
The baby ain't got no more daddy. Tell the baby you ain't got no daddy.
Yeah. Like, that's it. That's the only way to go about it. Because if he even, suspects that you're around this dude, you're going to get blocked on Instagram number 2.
Yeah, and if you missed the opportunity, you missed it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't come back from that, but he got a blue check, girl. There's more of you out there. He's not that worried.
I know.
That's the bad part about it.
I don't know how serious it was back in the day, but it seems like you guys never even fucked.
Can you show me him so I can,
I don't know. I got to ask her. And I gotta keep my advice ladies.
I need to see how fine this man
he fine.
is.
He fine.
Oh, Chocolate?
Yes.
Ooh.
Fine too. Fine,
you messed up, girl. You messed up.
Okay, we're gonna go into another one. This is kind of a story. It's a little long. Let me put my glasses on because I'm 31 and my eyes ain't working the same. So I do gotta put them on for this. Then this one, it says, this is a story, guys. So get ready for this. It says, I need some serious advice before I catch a charge. And when I read that, I was like, yes, girl. Let's do this. Catch a charge together or we won't. Trying to keep this as short as possible. It's not short. My sister is 7 years younger than me. I'm 23. She's 23 and I'm 30. She is troubled and a pain in the ass. She has been around and she has been since age 10. Diagnosed with depression, ADHD, and BPD. I'm not sure what BPD is. Do you know?
Bipolar disorder.
Oh, damn. She's got it all. We had an emotionally abusive father, which I realized affected her, and it has also me in different ways. From a young age, she was sneaking out and getting drunk and high, stealing, being promiscuous, and causing our mother grief. A few weeks ago, she turns up at my house crying and shows me her bruises. Her boyfriend beat her and she had nowhere else to go. I told her she can stay with us, but she has to be looking for a shelter or a motel or somewhere else in the meantime, and she agreed. I don't know if she mentioned this already, but she's married.
Yeah, Who is this older sister?
The older sister. She's married. She was surprisingly pleasant and helpful for the first few days, but I knew it was too good to be true. She started petty arguments with me, and one ended up with her calling me a dumb bitch. I wish she would in my house. I was like, hell no. I called her aunt and explained the situation and that she couldn't stay here and she was disrespecting me as usual. My aunt said that's fine, and my husband drove my sister to my aunt's house. I've been with my husband 9 years and married 7. We have 2 daughters. We have a brilliant marriage, and he's my best friend who I trust. He hates confrontation, though, and he stays out of the drama, as he puts it. He feels sorry for my sister, and he has always. We have had a few arguments over the years where he hasn't stood up where he should have to keep the peace. Most of them involving my sister dearest. 2 evenings ago, I picked up my husband's phone to play on. He has a certain app that I enjoy, but I don't have enough space on my phone to use it, so I used his phone and it's no problem.
She lying.
I don't know. She uses his phone. I guess they're pretty open with each other, it seems like. I open up the app, and at the same time, a notification pops up with a text from my sister's name. I don't open it, but I go to him and tell him that he has a text from her, which he says, okay. He takes the phone. I ask why they're texting. I trust them, and I don't know why she was texting him and not me. He says that when he took her to my aunt's, that he told her if she needs anything to just let him know. That's the way he is, and one of the things that I love about him. He told me that she had texted him and told him she would like to chat with him. He told her he would call her ASAP and reply, and the reply was okay. I understand him wanting to help her, but I don't trust her. A couple of years ago, I had to tell her to stop flirting with my husband right in front of my face. So I call her and ask what's going on in a pleasant tone. She says she's just feeling down and in the dumps, and I comfort her. That was that, and I didn't bother to mention anything else about it. Then yesterday evening, my husband was in the shower and his phone beeped. Admittedly, I peeped because I don't trust my sister. Sure enough, it was her, and she had sent an image. I opened it, and it was a selfie. It's her face, shoulders/cleavage, in a low-cut top, winking emoji. I'm like, what the fuck? I scroll up, and there's nothing else there except the pic, and the thread had been deleted previously. I freak out. I call her from his phone, asking her why she's sending him a pic. She says, ask why he's sending them to me. I yell at my husband to hurry out. When he's out, I tell him, and he says he doesn't know why she sent him a pic and that he's never sent her one. I asked about the deleted thread, and he says that he just deletes the thread so it doesn't take up space on his phone. I totally believe him, by the way. I am livid at my so-called sister. I've been spending today trying to remain calm, but it's hard. What the hell do I do about her? I asked him to block her, and he has. What would you do? Wow. Talking about story and a mouthful.
I'm speechless.
Let's start with this. I have a sister, and I was married before. I thankfully never had to bring her on, but I think that when you're in a marriage, there's certain things and boundaries that you should have. Mm-hmm. Your sister is young. You already know that she's a hot mess and has issues that probably she can't hold. Like,
she has daddy issues.
Big time. But my first thing is, a lot of niggas ain't shit. And it's just a proven fact. I don't know who's proven it, but I feel like all us women have proven that fact already. And deleted a thread for space on your phone.
Does he delete his other text messages?
How much are you texting her that it's taking up that much room on your phone?
Right.
A couple of okays don't take up the memory on your phone.
Something ain't adding up.
That's the first thing for me. And it's like she seems like she trusts him so much. And that's really important in a marriage. And I'm like, oh, kudos to you that you respect him and that you trust him the way that you do. But who are you really upset at? Her? I'd be upset at her for sending a picture. I'm going to slap her with the phone in the picture. But at the same time, I don't believe the whole deleting the the thread. But if you do, more power to you. And there's nothing else you can do. It seems like your husband is everything and more than you ever asked for. So what the hell are you asking me for help for?
I'm just mad that she replied like that. Like, oh, ask him why he's sending me pictures. Like, listen, what? You're my sister, dude. She would have had to get these paws, and she just needs to get blocked from every phone in the house and blocked from real life.
My intuition just would go up about how many threads, sir, are you fucking deleting?
I wouldn't have said anything to him right at that moment. I would have pretended I didn't see the picture, and I would have carried on with my day, and I would have seen what he replied. If he deleted the thread and didn't tell me, your sister sent me, you know, a provocative picture, I would have beat his ass.
Do you have the willpower and the strength to not say anything when you see something like that, though?
Sometimes you gotta just relax a little bit just so you can see how far it'll go.
Girl, we drinking vodka over here and I'm already ready to slap him. I don't know if I would have been able to take it. I think that your sister is not a very good person to have around. She does need to stay away. Leave her at your auntie house and stop being so damn nice to her. There needs to be some space between you and your sister. And your husband, if you trust him, more power to you. But girl, what would I do? Just stay away from your sister. She seems like she's happy. She trusts her husband. As I don't trust your husband. I just want you to know I don't trust your husband. Me, Carla, does not trust your husband.
Man, the detective in me is going to tell you right now, you need to pull up the phone records and see how many text messages were sent back and forth prior to that deleted text thread.
Yes, high five on that one. Because them phone records don't lie, girl. And if they don't have them, you make him call with you on the phone. I need my phone records.
Exactly.
Do y'all need a subpoena? Yeah.
It might not say exactly what was said back and forth, but it'll say time frames of what was sent back and forth. So if he's texting, you know, pictures and stuff like that, listen.
You know what sucks though? Because in my crazy days, you know, I've changed my life now. But there are certain ones that when it's iMessage, it doesn't show. It only shows text messages.
Oh.
Yeah, because iMessage is like a online thing.
Hopefully he has an Android.
Oh, yeah, girl. This is when Androids come in handy. There's no iCloud, but I can see who the fuck you texting, nigga.
Exactly.
I can see who you texting.
I'm trying to think, is there another way? Like...
To find out?
To find out.
No, there's apps you can put in their phone, and if he lets you use his phone all willy-nilly the way that you say he does, you might want to put one of these little ghost apps on there. I'll look one up and I'll tag.
Or text your sister and say, let me see the messages.
I know. I was waiting for her to say like, oh, so she texted me back with the screenshot evidence.
Right.
Where's the screenshot evidence of what he said?
You can ask for some evidence and maybe...
Or maybe not. She gonna, poor girl.
Be like, hey, sis, listen, I'll give you $200.
Her marriage is about to go down. No, don't do that because your baby's gonna be without a broken home. You know
don't
what?
do that. If you want to keep your husband.
She seems happy. Don't listen to us. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't listen to us. Don't listen to us.
Don't do it.
Just stay happy.
Just kidding.
Just stay happy over there. But if you really want to know,
text your sister back.
Anyways, our last segment for today is my shit talk. And this is where I basically talk shit about something or get something out of my chest that's going on that I seen, that I read. And I'm not sure, Cash, if you saw this. I saw it on the Shade Room the first time. And it was a woman who left a toddler on a doorstep, rang the doorbell, and ran away.
Saw that.
Oh, I was like, oh, what is this? But I wanted to give it a little time to see what really happened.
Right.
Who is this lady? What happened? Because you can't just, I know. People just don't drop off kids. I mean, people put kids in ovens. You don't know what people do these days.
Exactly.
But I'm like, I want to know more about it. So basically, the video went viral of a woman dropping off a toddler at a door of a stranger, running off to her car and abandoning him. So she rang the doorbell. The baby was still outside. Door wasn't open. And she drove off like quite fast. The story unfolded and it came to light that she was not the mother of the baby, but friends with the mother of the child who happened to be in the hospital. Now, the woman has spoken out to say that she's getting blamed for doing a favor for her friend. Where's the common sense here is my thing. Where? Your friend told you to drop this baby off where? So she said she had the incorrect address. And I don't want to blame an entire generation of stupid ass kids, but come on. Then I thought about, I went to school with a girl that made national headline news, Casey Anthony.
You went to school with her?
I did.
Ooh.
And we played. I didn't know her personally, but I played against her for many years. She's here from Orange County, so the same middle school. We would play against each other. She lived basically like down the street. So I'm thinking, what happened? So she said that her friend was in the hospital. And she told her to drop the baby off to her baby daddy's house. But she said, you know, just drop him off and leave because I have issues with the baby mama or the new girlfriend. So we don't want to start any problems. She is, I believe, 18 years old or 20 years old. I had my daughter at 18. And I would have never dropped the kid off. The worst thing I can probably say that I did was that I would hide from her and turn the lights off. She was probably about 3 or 4. And I would scare the hell out of her. And that was probably bad parenting, but that's as bad as it would go. Now, you dropping her off because you don't want to upset your friend and don't want to see the baby mom, but then she's like, I got the wrong address. If you would have waited until the door opened at least and said, here's your kid or here's the kid, and then walked away once you saw an adult open that door, you would have never gotten to the point where you dropped the child off to a stranger's house. It's 2018 and monsters are real.
Hello.
And these monsters are pedophiles, murderers, rapists. Like, what were you thinking? You don't know where you dropped this off.
She said she saw the lady walking towards the door.
Yeah, a fucking lady lives in the house.
I'm like, okay, a lady? That's not the baby dad.
What lady? The girlfriend? We don't know you don't know what lady that was. You don't know what the lady looks like.
I read some of the comments and people were like, oh my God, she looks like she's in danger. I don't know what video they saw, but the video I saw, she had a smirk on her face.
It looks like who's in danger?
The girl dropping because she ran off.
In danger of who?
I'm like, she's smirking. She laughing as she dropped that baby off with the damn arm about to pop out of socket.
I don't remember seeing, yes, the baby's arm. Poor baby. And he looks so scared. I'm going to go ahead and on the link, tag the video. I believe it's from the Shade Room, this link, and it shows the video. But to me, I'm like, you could have waited until that damn door was open and then ran away.
Did you hear her excuse of why she ran back to the car?
What was her excuse?
It was chilly outside.
Get the fuck out of here. I thought she was just said that she had to run back because she didn't want a confrontation with the girlfriend.
No, it was chilly outside. So she tried to get back to her car. The baby
had a short sleeve shirt.
I was like, what? How do you think the baby feels?
That baby's frozen.
Right.
Hypothermia.
Jeez. I'm like, come on, bro. I don't know. What would you do if that was your friend?
Well, I feel like her friend ain't shit just like she is.
But what would you do if you were in the hospital and you saw all this going viral?
I don't know, because I really truly feel like the mom of the kid is just as bad because she's basically like drop her off and run.
Well, we don't know if she said drop her off and run. We just know that she gave the address.
Bro.
And you're in the hospital. Could you imagine being in the hospital and seeing this go viral?
Viral of your kid. All I hope is that the dad mentioned something.
But here's what I don't get about the story. So the dad realizes that's his kid going viral and reaches out, says, hey, that's my kid. I live next door to that house, but the kid was still in like CPC or whatever custody. CPS. Why didn't you take your kid if you knew that was him?
Well, that is an investigation usually. When the baby's not part of the state has to figure out whether it's like whether they're going to let him go or not.
But I think I had read an article where they said they were trying to place him somewhere, the kid.
Depends. If they find like both parents aren't fit, that's what sucks about when it comes to child support and custody. It's so much better to handle it outside of the courts.
Right.
Once you involve the government, you're screwed. It's big whatever time. They say. So if whatever judge that is Billy Bob is the judge and he feels like you're not fit as a parent, you're not getting your kid. It doesn't matter how fit you think you are.
Try to fix it before you go into those doors.
Right. So they called basically the authorities in, and now it's out of their hands.
I don't know how I would feel if I saw that video and that was my friend. I would really be probably pissed. I probably would fight her because not for the fact that...
But she gave her the wrong address.
Right. It was her
her fault.
But you didn't have to carry my kid like that. There's no reason why you're carrying my kid by the arm.
Like it's gonna come running out of the socket.
From your car to the door, carrying my kid by the arm? What?
And then,
then leaving my kid because you're chilly? Girl, no, we gotta fight.
Yeah, no, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Well, that was our episode for the week. Cash, where can they find you online so they can see all that body you got, girl?
Okay. All of my handles for social media are Cash Arroyo, which is spelled CASHARROYO.
So you guys can find her on Instagram. And if someone feels like they want to talk to you, do you usually like answer DMs about like I feel this way or I feel like I
have a lot of unread DMs right now. I try to reply to them as best as I can, but I mean, if it's cold hard advice or you need to talk or something, I suggest you watch my YouTube videos or you read my captions before DMing me.
So what's your YouTube?
My YouTube is Cash Arroyo or That Girl with PCOS.
Okay.
But there's no H with. So it's That Girl with WIT PCOS. So I recommend watching those videos, reading my captions before messaging me, because I promise you I've answered all the questions that you're probably going to ask.
Perfect. So you guys can reach her there. And there's one more thing that I'm doing before the shows are over now. And that is, I told you guys that I would read some of the one per show a review from iTunes, because it's so important for me for you guys to rate and review the podcast on iTunes. It's just the way it goes. It's algorithms, and that's.
I like that.
So I'm gonna pull one up right now.
Even if it's a bad review.
There's actually a bad one. Let me see. I'm gonna read the bad one real quick. It was an asshole. I don't know who they are. Her name was Monica F. Monica, somebody pissed you off because back in August she said, corny, no substance, just chickens clucking. I was like, oh,
wow.
Who made you mad? Did I talk about your boyfriend?
What should we talk about, Monica, since you are just so unbothered by this podcast?
Monica was mad, but there's actually, thank God, and I have amazing listeners and amazing followers. That's the only bad thing. And when I look, you can search for those people that have left stuff before, and she just leaves bad ratings on everybody. He or she, whoever it is. But this one is, let's see. Oh, they switched the way it's written. So I have one from Kela Wines or Keela Wines. It says, OMG, love this podcast. Carla is so raw, real, and doesn't hold anything back. Every episode I listen to inspires me to express my authenticity and talk my shit.
Amen.
LOL. Thank you, Carla. You're welcome. Send me a DM if you wrote that. This is so sweet. I am pretty raw. Sometimes it got me in trouble when I was growing up. A lot of times, actually. But I feel like I can make this a living now, saying what I want to say.
Right.
So, again, go on iTunes. You put Shit I'm 30. You rate it. And at the bottom, it tells you to leave a review. You choose whatever name you want it to be. And leave me a review. And you might be the next person that I read your review on the podcast.
Nice.
Have a good weekend, guys. Or week. And this was us. Bye.